Hello, good day. And today I'm going to share with you the discussion that we had yesterday about curriculum management. I am Ms. Patty Ann Bautista Figueroa, and I'm going to present our work. So, together with my group members, Ms. Rizal Banig, Ms. Jocelyn Kahandab, Mr. Mac Johnson Kada, Mr. Sandrex Bolaño, Mr. Alfonso Bendia, and the one who made this PowerPoint presentation, Mr. John Noel M. Bernabe. And now we are from the group 2. This discussion, we are going to answer the 3 major questions. First one is we are going to share with you the learnings that we had um, in relation with the topic curriculum. And how are we going to apply curriculum with our teaching and learning strategies and methods? Next is we are going to differentiate the formal, informal, and hidden curriculum. And of course, we're going to share with you the experience on how we are applying it in our field. Next is we are going to give you the questions or the concepts that we gathered about it that we want to clarify, and also the other learnings for in relation with this topic. So first, I'm going to give you the lenient points that we think the most important, or the takeaways that we have based on the video that we watched. The curriculum plays a vital role in the teaching and learning process. Second is we believe that the curriculum is set as brain and framework of teaching and learning. Curriculum is the content that students are expected to learn in a school or program. Third is curriculum typically refers to the knowledge and skills students are expected to learn. Lastly, curriculum should demonstrate an in-depth learning of the diversity of learners in various learning areas. These 5 points we are going to consider in answering the first question. First, as per given by the answer given by Ms. Banig, she believed that curriculum is vital part of teaching learning process. I know that we all know that without curriculum, we cannot teach in a way that we are going to align our teaching with knowledge, skills, and of course, the most important is we are going to include values and attitude. It should be also flexible to accommodate the varying the varying needs of the society and the students. In this case, what we want to share with you is that in curriculum, we are going to consider all the facets of education, not only the things that we need to teach, but the outcome of the way we teach our students. Yes, this is important because it is just like we are entering our classroom. For example, our Zoom meetings. So usually, ayan yung na-experience natin ngayon. Kapag wala tayong we consider curriculum, or wala tayong process that we are following, we're going to have a problem with how we are going to implement the content. Not only the content, but also the context that might assess the performance of our students. Wherein, as you can see here, the emphasis of knowledge, skills, okay, the knowledge skills, not only that, we also need to consider the values and the attitudes of our students. Next, my key takeaway is that curriculum is the brain and framework of learning. Framework meaning this is the foundation. This is where we're going to align everything that we're going to do. part of the foundation is we must have direct goals and objectives. In teaching, lagi nila sinasabi na what is our philosophy in teaching? It is just like we're putting up that philosophy and putting up that philosophy into a plan, which is the plan is considered as a curriculum. Without a clear picture of the framework on how we are going to do the teaching and learning process, it is just considering na it is just not considering the the goals that we have for the development of our students. And also, we have to be reminded that the tools and resources that we're going to use should undermine based on the goals and objectives that we have. So the tools and resources that I'm talking about here is the now na applicable yon with the mode of learning that we have. Next is the curriculum should demonstrate a deep understanding of the diverse learning styles and various subject areas. So we all know that that is the importance of having profiling before designing the curriculum. The profiling would be the heart or the center of our planning. Part of this is that we're going to take consideration. I mean, we're going to consider the diverse learning styles of our students, aligning with the various subject areas. For example, may student tayo na magaling sa gantong area, magaling sa English. Maybe we could ask the student to give us, or we are going to align our topics or our lessons with something related with language. So in that case, um, yung kayang ibigay ng student sa ating learning ay hindi nalilimit yung skills at knowledge na meron siya. That will be the proper way for us to address, for them to effectively communicate their skills and knowledge, because we are attending to their diverse skills and abilities. So it should also promote the development of model teachers, both as individuals and as professionals. With the curriculum, we can see of what teacher we want to be. Curriculum could also be considered as the standards that we're going to follow. So if a particular school or in the field that where you are, the planning that they have or the structure that they have, that is what we are following. That is what we are as a student or as a teacher or else as a employee. Next is based on Ms. Jocelyn Kahandab. She said that the curriculum is the roadmap of education. It tells us what the goals are, how they should be active, and why they should be done. It also tells us how schools should develop their students so they become lifelong learning. So apart from being the dictionary, the manual of being a teacher and as a student or the school, we all know that schools directed to develop their students to become a lifelong learners. So it doesn't end with the planning. It doesn't end with how you implement the learning or the lessons, but it will be more effective if after the school or after teaching the lesson, the student can apply your lesson even without insight, even without your provision or even without your guidance, meaning he or she is considering your lesson to be more effective. Now, discussing the differences of informal, hidden, and formal curriculum. For the formal, following the book, lesson planning, plan program, goals and content, learning experiences, resources, and assessment. So as we understood or as we discussed the formal curriculum, this is where the manual or the content of the teaching and learning process, this is the what of the teaching and learning process. So we can find everything here. We can find the objectives and goals that we need to aim in teaching and learning. Now, in informal, these are the organized activities, action and hands-on experiences, competition and trainings in between class break, after class, school clubs, school trip. So, attending with the relevance of the standards that we need to consider. We also need to consider that there are a lot of ways for us to meet that standards, and not only with what the content, I mean, not only with teaching the content, but they need to contextualize that context through context or experiences. So that is what we refer as informal curriculum. Now, with the hidden curriculum, respecting authority, respect for other pupils' opinions, punctuality, aspiring to achieve, having a work ethic. Parang this, we are going to consider is as the ripple effect of what we teach. The formal curriculum, these are the things that we want to see or we want them to do right away. Informal, these are the other way for them to do a particular task in which it employed higher order thinking skills. And lastly, for the hidden curriculum, these are the activities that we are applying na hindi na natin kailangan sabihin sa kanila na gawin mo to, gawin mo yan. That is, the standards of this is not written with the lessons that we have. However, the effect or the reflection of the action or the good things that we are teaching can be seen through their principles already. So long term with the hidden curriculum. Next is the things that the questions or the concepts about the curriculum that we want to clarify or the group shared with each other that we also want to share with you is that curriculum, like what Ms. Rizal May Banik said, it is vital role, meaning vital, essential, important. If we do not know what we are doing, our roles and responsibilities, or if we do not know how to consult the curriculum that we have, we are not important anymore. Meaning we are not doing our responsibility to shape the future of the country or our students. Hindi po siya pwedeng kung anong naisipan mong gawin, ayun yung gagawin mo. So it's a matter of planning, it's a matter of implementing, and lastly, it's a matter of reflecting about the things that you have done and what you're going to do by the next day. Same as in learning or with our students, makikita natin na okay si curriculum natin after they graduate, and not only after they graduate, but when they are going to use the learnings that they had even outside the school. Now, this is my key takeaway. I just want to clarify the word curriculum, or I just want to put sense in this matter that Teachers must be given a series of lectures and training about curriculum mapping. Everyone must be involved in the process of putting up the most appropriate curriculum, especially nowadays we are experiencing, of course, the pandemic or the changes in the changes in teaching and learning, or the paradigm shift that we are talking about. Teaching and learning process that we're applying yesterday is not effective today. We have to know about that. So whereas if you're teaching, or if you're a teacher, the one you are teaching yesterday is not effective today. So you have to improve all of the things, your lessons, the topics, and also the way you teach it. And I'm talking about the training or series of lecture because the 2020 trainings that you had is not effective today, especially in planning. Maybe the plan that you did, last school year, it's different now because we already experienced the change, the the changes in the mode of deliveries, that the modalities, the different modalities that we are talking about. So we need to revisit, or we need to assess if it is effective last year. Maybe we could improve it and use it more and apply another practices about it. So that is curriculum. Everyone must be involved in the process of putting up the most appropriate curriculum. Not only the higher, I mean, not only the depth, maybe we need to follow their standards, but it is up to us wherein we are going to just like this. One must consider that it must be designed according to the diversity of learners' needs. Of course, sinasabi natin na mahirap sundin yung binigay ni DepEd kasi hindi naman nila nakikita talaga yung dapat nilang makita, or the things that we need to apply. It is up to us, teacher. It is our responsibility to improve that part or that perspective. So it is part of curriculum. We have that standard, but the implementation is different. It is based on what we think we need to address. Next, based on Mr. John Noel and Bernabe, he said that it is very important, it's important that we know the various aspects of the curriculum so that we can use them in our teaching and learning process. That is good, so that we have different perspective about particular things that we need to know about, or the relevant things that we need to know in curriculum. Next is based on Mr. Sandrek's idea. As a future leader of education, we are expected to be more knowledgeable about the curriculum as well as its kinds or types. This is the framework of implementing curriculum in education, so we must be guided to be more effective teachers and learners. Curriculum must always be relevant of the current situation of community, so it will be used and meaningful. That is the key words. It will be relevant if we keep on changing it. However, the changes must be the use for development and improvement. Sometimes we are changing our curriculum, but it doesn't help anything at all. So I think the assessment would be all throughout. We need to reassess, we need to reevaluate. Based on Mr. Alfonso Bendia's learning, is that teachers play an important role in the course design process because they deliver the instructions that are outlined in a curriculum. Of course, teacher must be knowledgeable about this. We've gone the days that we are just following what our principal or coordinator. It is time for us to learn and to improve ourselves in this case. Kasi kapag wala tayong alam sa curriculum, we just know how to teach our lesson. Hindi naman na-align yung ating tinuturo. Nagugulat pa tayo na ituturo mo pa ulit. So maybe that is part of the curriculum. The comprehensive planning and curriculum review process for Pan Pacific University requires students to have the intelligence and confidence to pursue excellence. These courses will help prepare them for the future. So Mr. Kadag is referring to the practice of Pan Pacific University since he's affiliated with that school. The importance of his takeaway is that we need to consider that we need to provide a comprehensive planning or curriculum review, meaning comprehensive, meaning we must take into consideration the gap, not only the gap, but the things that we need to improve as per it will relate to the intelligence and confidence of their students. Next is students learn to form opinions and ideas about their environment and their classmates. For example, the children learn appropriate ways to act at school, meaning what's going to make them popular with teachers and students. They also learn what is expected of them. For example, many students pick up on the fact that year-end test scores are what really matter. It is more on the importance of the content or what is appropriate. Okay, it is not only that. Okay, we also need to consider the other facets or the perspective of teaching and learning process, and part of that is the environment or the changes in the modalities like what we've experienced right now. And teacher must know that we cannot assess the ability of our students based on the written task only or on the performance task. There are a lot more that we need to dig in. So I just want to share that my experience with curriculum management, first year of my teaching, I really don't know how to align the curriculum guide and the align my curriculum guide and the lesson planning. And then I have been thinking of what are the possible ways for me to improve in that area. And I realized that we need to reassess the previous curriculum or the previous lessons, and also assess it with the current lessons, and we need to assess also yung mga future lessons that we can give to our students. What I'm saying is that we should not focus with the present times or kung ano yung current situation that we have. Sometimes it's just like having a decision with what's happening right now without thinking kung ano ba yung framework or yung mga before framework na we need to follow or the standards that we need to follow. May existing solutions pala that we can apply with the current situation, but we still need to think about the future. Baka kasi yung tinuturo mo ngayon is not na hindi na siya maging effective in the future. So the three tenses of life, no, the tenses of life, we have to think about it. And I think in curriculum making that is important. We have to have an overview of all the aspects that we need to consider, the diversity of the students and also the tenses of life, or what I'm talking about with the time differences or the situations that we are into. So that would be all for our presentation. Thank you for listening. So we are group 2. That's all. Thank you.